Alright, so let us set up the crafting display so that every time we craft an item we can tell it what we're going to have up here. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another canvas panel and attach it to the very top one. And I'm going to bind it to the top in the center. So position X. For the X I'm going to set it to 0.5. For the Y I'm going to leave to 0 because it doesn't need to be up there. Now for the Y I'm going to drag it down a little bit, let's say 30 units. And then just size it to whatever you think would look good for a crafting display. So I'm going to say 300 on that, and then maybe 150 on that. That might be too big, but that might be perfect. We'll see. We can always scale it later on. That's the benefit of doing it in these canvas panel and having scale boxes and all that. We can stretch it later on. So I'm going to add an image onto this canvas panel, and I'm going to, just like always, just offset it back to 0, then tint it black, alpha 0.75. Okay. Now I'm going to add another image onto it that I'm going to set the size X and Y to 75. I'm going to add 2 text blocks. So this first one is just going to be, it's just going to say crafted a. The reason I'm doing them on 2 separate ones is because I want the actual item to be a different color than this to be white. So I'm going to set it to be light, and I'm going to set its size to about 20. This one can be sized to content. Just like that, put it in line with the image a little bit. And then I'm going to duplicate it, move it down and to the right a little bit. I'm going to make its font just a little bit bigger. And this one is going to be italic on mine. And this is just going to say the item name. And I'm going to set its color to maybe a greenish. I don't know. We've used blue a lot, so maybe greenish to differentiate a little bit. Yeah, green. Green looks good. I like green. Move that down just a little bit. Got this one in line with the top, so I'll make this one in line with the bottom. That way it gives it that nice boxy effect. No, it needs to come up a little bit more. And you can come down. Too scrunched. You know what? That's fine for now. That's fine for now. Alright, so this text block is going to be called item name. And okay, it can't say item name. Let's say crafted name. Yeah. And it is a variable. This will be crafted image, also a variable. We'll compile that. Now what we want to do is go into the graph, and we're going to add a variable that will be crafted item, and it is going to be an item info type. So now up here, when we learned items, or no, we don't need to. We can do something similar though. We'll create another custom event called crafted items. So we are going to add an input that will be item info. This might actually turn out to be redundant. We might not, you know what, I'm going to get rid of it, because we can just make it right here. So this will be item info type. Yep. Then we're going to break it open. And from, let's see, crafted name, let's get that, and let's get the crafted image. So for the name, we are going to set text of text to the item name. And now for the crafted image, we will set style. No, it's not set style. Set brush. So for buttons, it's set style. For an image, it's just set brush. And then the rest of it functions fairly similar. So in brush, we will make a slate brush. And we can just hook that item image right up just like that. Drag everything down and in place where we want it. So once we craft the item, then we need to actually set up its fade in, fade out effect. So I'm going to highlight this canvas panel right here. I'm going to create a new animation called crafted. With that highlighted and my canvas panel highlighted, I'm going to add the track with that canvas panel. And it just needs one track of a render opacity because I'm just going to leave it right where it's at. And it's just going to be a 3-second little animation. So from 0 to 0.5, we'll do that. So it'll fade in. Maybe 1 second is good enough to show. And then we'll set, no, we got to set it to 1 so it stays until there. You know what? 2-second animation. So at 0, its render opacity is 0. At 0.5, render opacity is set to 1 so that it has that nice fade in. It maintains for 1 complete second, so at 1.5 it starts fading back out. That looks good. Well, let's test it at runtime. Let's see. That looks good. Alright, so now back in the graph. Now we'll call that from the other screen. Alright, so let's go to the player blueprint. Now in our craft item function, right here at the end, at the very end of this for each loop, we can call that. So let's get our HUD reference again. And the first thing I want to do is get the call function of the crafted items. So on complete, I'm going to hook that up. And the crafted item is going to be, I'm just going to drag this crafting item local variable down and plug it right in. And then from my HUD reference, I'm going to call that animation, which was crafted. Alright, but before I hook it all up, I want to see if it's already playing. So is animation playing? And this is just like a Boolean, or just like for the branches. So we need to set the target. Is this animation playing in this widget? And if so, then we want to reset it so that it's not stacking on top of each other. So on true, we will set animation current time back to 0. Just going to grab another reference to my HUD for right here. And on false, then we can just play that animation. So move this up like that. And then we will play animation. So on false, if it's not playing, then we want it to play. If it is playing, then we want to reset it. Now I'm going to plug my crafted in just like that. And now I'm going to hop in the game. Crafted an item name. Okay, that's not good. So back in the player HUD, we need to also set its defaults. So I'm going to unselect my animation, and then with my canvas panel selected, I'm going to set its render opacity. Render opacity to 0. The benefit of doing it with canvas panels on everything is you can just set that one thing's render opacity to 0 and it takes everything with it. So now, let me pick up some stuff. I don't have any crafting items, so let's learn some. Crafted a health potion, does not fit appropriately, but see if I click it, just craft it a bunch of times. But it's looking good, so let me go back into my player HUD. So size X I'm going to set to 350, 300. I got to readjust everything after that, so let's see. Maybe I can just adjust the font size. So I'll just bump this down to say 20. Alright, so I've got my recipes. I got my items. I've got a widget. Looks like it could be slimmed down a little bit this way. So let's just do that. Oh. Let's just do it this way. Move it up, move it up, move it up. Alright, and then, nope, that's not the canvas panel. Alright. Make it a little bit more form-fitting. But that's not the right one. Let's see, size Y 100, position Y 60. That'll be fine. So now if we jump in and takes a look, we can get those items, get those recipes. Yeah, it's giving us a nice little readout so we can know. So just a little visual verification that it's doing something. And I'm gaining items. Cool. Good deal. Alright, so in the next one we'll set up a fire pit. That way we can start actually taking care of any items that need to be cooked. And then we'll rearrange some of this stuff, because it's, crowded. Alright, I will see y'all in a bit. Bye.